Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, MrBee Handyman Specialist. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to replace a spark plugs in this vehicle right here, 2007 Toyota Highlander Hybrid. And also, I'm going to show you guys how to replace the valve cover gasket and the spark plug tube seals. It's very simple. And just don't get intimidated by it because there's so many parts in here that you gotta remove. I mean, it's very easy. Just take your time on it. So, alright, let's get to it. First thing first, you need to remove this cover right here. What you do, just use a little small flathead screwdriver. Just pop this little tab up. And there's one more tab right here that you need to remove. Next thing, you need to remove this air box right here and the whole unit right here, including all these plastic pieces and this piece right here. I mean, you can remove the whole thing at once, but I rather remove a little bit at a time. It'll be a whole lot better, a whole lot easier. I mean, it depends. It's up to you. I mean, you can unbolt everything and just lift the whole thing up, but you know, just in case if you do that, sometimes you'll break some little plastic piece off. So I rather just do it a little piece at a time. It'll be a lot easier. That's in my opinion. The first one I'm gonna remove is this little plastic piece right here. Okay, this one is all 10mm bolt. So it's pretty easy. Just go ahead and use a 10mm socket and just remove this bolt right here. There's one right here, one right here, and another one right there. Just remove this one out. Now you need to remove this box right here. There's 3 bolts holding on to it. There's a 10mm. There's one right there. You look right here. That's 2. And if you look over here, that's 3 right there. Alright, now remove this box right here. Now you need to remove this piece right here, and there's a bolt right here. There's a 10mm bolt, and there's also another one right here that's connected to the throttle body. That's also a 10mm bolt. So just loosen this one and loosen this one and remove this piece right here. And before you loosen that, see this hose right here? Make sure to disconnect this one from the mount, like that, okay? And now you can loosen this bolt, these two bolts right here. You might want to twist around a little bit because this is on for so long. There you go. Now this one's loose. There's one more thing you need to disconnect, which is this hose right here. See how this one connected to this tube right here? See that right there? You want to use a pair of pliers. Remove this clamp. There you go. See right here? It's connected to this part right here. You need to disconnect this connector, but before you disconnect it, you need to remove the mount right here. This one, what you can do is you use a little pick, kind of push the little inside tab right there, push it in, and pull it up at the same time. There you go. Same thing on this side too. What you do on this one, push it down on this tab right here and pull it out. Now let's move this out of the way. Now there's three 10mm bolts holding this box. Just there's one right there, two right there, and three right there. You need to remove the strut tower bar. There's two 14mm bolts holding on to it on both sides. So you need to remove that. Now you need to remove this part right here, this piece. You need to disconnect this connector right here and take it out from this mount by just putting the pick right between there and push this one up. There you go. Then disconnect this connector, press it down and pull it out. Be careful, it's pretty fragile. Then you need to disconnect this hose right here. Use a clamp, remove the clamp, just disconnect it. Also, there's one more hose right here. This one didn't have any clamps, so I just pull it out. There's a two 10mm nut holding this assembly on. There's one right there. If you look on the other side, there's another one right there. So just go ahead and loosen those and remove this out of the way. Now you need to disconnect this ground wire right here from this connector. What you do, lift this little tab up and pull it out. There you go. Now you need to disconnect this connector right here, throttle position sensor. Just press the tab and pull. Be careful. You need to move this clamp out of the way, these two clamps right here, and just disconnect that hose and disconnect this hose. And on this hose right here, be careful, because that's where the antifreeze going in here to warm up the throttle. This one is connected to your cooling system. The coolant will go inside there and warms up the throttle. So when you move this clamp, just be careful. There's gonna be some coolant coming out, so just plug it in with the 1-inch 3/8 extension. Alright, that should do it. Go ahead and plug it so it wouldn't leak out. Now you need to move this out of the way. There's a little clip right here. Gonna push it up. Take it out from the mount. Okay, there's 4 Allen bolts holding onto this intake manifold, and 2 nuts right here, 1 and 2. That's a 2 14mm nut, and this one is a 8mm Allen key. So what I usually do, I'll use this right here, 8mm Allen socket. I'll use that to remove this 4 Allen bolt right here. Remove the plate. Now you need to remove that hose right there. Looks like that's another PVC hose. Go ahead and disconnect that. Just a clamp holding on to it. Now it's removed. Now here comes the hard part. But don't worry, it's not that hard. You need there's a 1 14mm bolt holding this intake manifold onto the bracket. The 14mm bolt is right around right here, and another one there's also holding on to the intake manifold. If you reach your hand down there, you can feel it, but as for my car, I didn't feel it, so I am assuming that the previous owner had a tune-up already, but I'm not sure when. But I don't think the mechanic really did put the bolt back on. But this one definitely have a 14mm bolt on here. So it's about right there, there's a 14mm, and around about right there, there's a bolt. So you need a wrench for that one. There you go. That's a 14mm bolt. Okay, there's one more bolt. This one right here is a 12mm bolt. It's holding on to the throttle body, and the throttle body connected to the intake manifold. So make sure to remove this bolt as well. Once you remove this bolt, the whole intake manifold assembly should come out. There you go, that's a 12mm bolt. There you go. You need a paper towel and put inside those 6 ports right there so nothing would fall in there. Just use regular paper towel or a rag, whatever you like. Make sure to put it in there so nothing would fall inside there. Right there. Now you need to disconnect the coil. There's 1, 2, 3. All you have to do is just press it down and pull it out. Just be careful because these plastics disconnectors are fragile because of all that heat. Do the same for the front. You can tell that the previous owner or previous mechanic that worked on this car already broke off the tab. So once the tab was broken, you can just go ahead and yank it out like that. But you're supposed to, if the tabs are still intact, then you can just press it down and pull it out. Like this one broke out too. Now you need to remove all the coils. They're all 10mm bolt, so that's pretty easy. And when you pull it out, make sure to number them, you know, just to be wise. Whatever you take out, put it back in the same place, alright? Remove the back coil. Now you see this bracket right here? That's supposed to have a bolted on to the intake manifold, but it was missing. Like earlier in the video that I was telling you that it is missing a bolt. And that one's a 14mm bolt. That's the one that's not missing. So basically there's only one bolt holding on to it to the back on the back. And this one is holding on to the throttle body. See right there? That's the hole for a 14mm bolt. And that one is for that little bracket that was missing the bolt. So just let you guys see what's going on. So you guys can tell that, hey, this car has been worked on. They did replace the spark plugs already, maybe. I'm not sure yet, but we'll find out once we take the spark plugs out, see what's going on. And you can tell right here, these are the Toyota. These are the OEM Toyota coils. You can see it has a Toyota on it. If the camera can catch it, let's see. Right there. That's a Toyota. This one has nothing on it, so it looks like this one is aftermarket. This one is Toyota. This one is Toyota. Toyota. And Toyota. Sounds like the previous mechanic did work on it, replaced the coil, which is this one, and they use the aftermarket one. And I'm assuming that they probably did a tune-up too, but I'm not sure yet, so we're gonna find out in a minute. See how wore out the spark plugs are. Now before you start removing the spark plugs, make sure to get an compressed air. Just blow into these holes right there. Try to get all the debris out, all the dust and particles inside there. Try to remove them out with the compressed air. Also the back side as well. Alright, now it's time to remove the old spark plugs. I use a 5/8 spark plug socket and a long extension. Well, these are the front 3 spark plugs. Man, it looks pretty old. I'm not sure when the last time that they replaced the spark plugs. What I'm gonna do for now is plug up those 3 spark plugs holes right there with the paper towel so nothing would fall down in there. Now it's time to remove the last 3 spark plugs in the back. Alright, this is the last 3 in the back. This one looks very new. Looks like they just replaced it. But I'm not sure why they replaced just the back. But anyways, it looks a lot better than the front 3. Alright, let's put the paper towels inside those holes right there so nothing would fall inside there. Alright, this is what I'm gonna use. NGK Iridium spark plugs. And when I bought these from the auto parts store, they say not to cap them because it's already pre-capped it at the factory for your car. That is wrong. Basically, when they manufacture this spark plug, they pre-cap them to their specs. So they're not pre-cap them to your specific car, which is, you know, whatever the car you're gonna put in. So you have to look at it. like this one. This the original owner's manual. Check this out. Spark plug gap 1.1 millimeter or 43,000 of an inch. I'm gonna open all of these out and measure them to show you that from the auto parts store they say not to cap them because it's all pre-cap for your car. That's wrong. Look at that right there. That one is 41,000 of an inch. And this one about 42,000. Look at that. This one's at 40,000. This one's at 40,000 too. This one also 40,000. And this one is 41,000. So look at that. They say it's already pre-capped them for your car. So 3 spark plugs, they capped them at 40,000. 2 of them, they capped them at 42,000. And 1 of them, this one is 41,000. So that's why you don't want to trust what auto parts store was telling you, because manufacturer that manufactured these spark plugs, they pre-cap them at their specification, which is pretty much between 40,000 to 42,000 of an inch. So you still have to cap these spark plugs to according to the owner's manual, which is 43,000 of an inch or 1.1 millimeter. So all that nonsense stuff that they've been telling you about for iridium spark plugs or platinum spark plugs, whatever, you're not supposed to cap them. That's wrong. I just want to clarify that, let you guys know you still have to cap them to your car for a specific car that you gonna put it in, or whatever the owner's manual calls for. Alright, I got all these spark plugs capped already according to the owner's manual, which is 43,000 of an inch or 1.1 millimeter. So this one's, these spark plugs are ready to go. So one other thing, you don't want to put anti-seize compound onto this thread when you put the spark plugs back in there, because once you put them on, you're gonna change the torque specs on it. So basically you're gonna end up over tying the spark plugs. So these spark plugs not necessarily need to have an anti-seize compound in it, because these threads right here, it's already come coated. They came coated already, so it won't seize up in your cylinder head. So that's why it's not necessary to put anti-seize compound on there. So just put it in like that in there. Just torque it down to a 14 foot-pound. Alright, let's put these back in there. Alright, let's put the spark plug in. Remember, don't put any anti-seize on there. Tie it by hand first. Now, tighten the spark plugs in there and torque it down to a 14 foot-pound. Alright, now the back spark plugs. Now you can see that the tune-up is done. All the spark plugs are brand new, made by NGK Iridium. That's fairly easy, just the tune-up. You just have to take a lot of stuff out, remove a bunch of stuff, but it's pretty easy. Just take your time on it. Don't get in a rush because you're gonna forgetting something, you know, or forget to put stuff back in its place. So now the next thing is, since you already got everything removed, I'm gonna go ahead and do the valve cover gaskets for the front and the rear, and also spark plug tube seals for the front and for the back. Because since you already got all the stuff removed, might as well just go ahead and knock these out. So, alright, let's get to it.